So for our first play here, it's an easy one. It's a popular one. It is the stack. I think everybody that coaches basketball is familiar with the stack, but there are multiple different ways to run a stack out of bounds basketball play. Now, what we're going to look at here is my favorite one because it gives us multiple different effective options. Now, the good thing about a stack is that you can run it with just about any age group and it can still be effective because, again, there are just so many different options that you can throw at a team, within a stack. So what we have here, obviously our players are stacked up against each other. They're standing pretty close together in a stack, right? We have our inbounder here, and we're inbounding on the sideline out of bounds, of course. Now, the first thing that we're going to do within the stack is the first player in the stack, number 2, is going to loop around all the way through, and we're going to see, can we potentially get an easy lane to the basket right here for number 2? Can we potentially get an easy cut? Is everybody going to be focused so much on the stack that we can just have number 2 loop all the way around the stack and potentially get a lob over here to number 2 for an easy wide open layup? That's going to be our initial look. We might not get this if this is an older team, but if this is a younger team, you're very well likely going to get this wide open layup for number 2. So number 2 is doing that. They're cutting hard to the basket, and we're going to see if we can get the ball here. As that is happening, number 3 and number 4 are then going to split in a different direction. So number 3 is going to move this way, and number 4 is going to move that way. So number 3 and number 4 are splitting to the two sides of the floor to see if we can potentially get the ball inbounds into one of these people. And as that happens, number 5 is going to cut directly to the basketball. So we have movement there from all players involved in the stack. These 3 players are just trying to get open, whereas number 2 is looking for a wide open layup. Let's have these players stack up and run this again. So here's number 2, number 3, number 4, and number 5. So as we mentioned, number 2 is going to loop around the stack. They're going to see if we can potentially get a lob in here for an easy layup. But if not, number 2 is just moving on. Number 3 and number 4 are going to split to look for the basketball, while number 5 cuts directly to the basketball. Every player here is an option, and this is good, like I said, for just about any age group. Okay, our next play here is called boomerang. And what we're going to look for here are 2 different ways to get easy baskets from a sideline out of bounds basketball play. So let's take a look. Obviously, now number 1 has the basketball. We're going to switch sides on this one a little bit, and we're going to set this one on the opposite side of the floor. So as you can see here, we have our players lined up pretty much on the opposite half of the floor. Now, what we want to kind of fake here a little bit is that number 2 might be setting a screen for number 4, number 3 might be setting a screen for number 5. But what we're actually going to do is just have number 2 and number 3 split. So number 2 is going to move this way, number 3 is going to move that way. So both of those players are going to move. Number 2 is going to split, and number 3 is going to split. We want to get the basketball into number 3. Now, as that happens, number 2 is going to come up here and set a screen for the inbounder in number 1, and then number 1 is going to cut hard to the basket. Right, number 1 is going to cut hard. We might be able to just throw number 1 in a deep pass. Who knows? We might be able to get it. We might not be able to get it. But if we can't get it, number 1 is just going to continue cutting. Everybody else is going to fill a spot. And number 3 is going to run a dribble handoff over here to number 2. Number 3 is going to bring that dribble handoff over. And now you're going to have a dribble handoff for number 2 to potentially get a wide open lane to the basket. So a few different options here. We want to look for number 1 on that initial pass. But again, if that doesn't work, then we also have a dribble handoff option over there to number 2 as well. So a few different options on this one. But again, this one, we're kind of looking at something different here. Again, it's easy and effective, but we're also looking to get an easy layup. It's not just to get the ball inbounds on this one, maybe like our stack was. Our stack was a little bit more, okay, let's figure things out after we get the ball inbounds. But for this one, we have 2 options here to score an easy basket after getting the ball inbounds, which is kind of the most important part of this.
Hold on one quick second, coaches. Before you go anywhere, I've got a couple free resources waiting for you from the Basketball Coaches Academy that'll take your practices and take your teams to the next level. First off, grab your complete guide to the continuous motion offense, which breaks down exactly how to teach your players to play the game, not just run plays. You'll learn what continuous motion offense really means, proven drills to build it, and how to run a motion offense continuously. We have lots of different things in this guide. We have video demonstrations, we have diagrams, we have descriptions, everything that you would need. If you want your athletes to develop real basketball IQ, this is the starting point. The second item that I have for you is the 5 must-have out-of-bounds plays for all ages. These are game-tested sets that you can run with youth or high school teams. We have baseline out of bounds, we have sideline out of bounds, all free for you. They're simple to teach, tough to guard, and each play includes clear diagrams and coaching points so your team stops wasting possessions. And lastly, I have the practice plan template. This printable practice plan template is the exact layout that I use to organize and plan every practice session. So you can plug in your warm-ups, skill blocks, team drills, and scrimmage notes so you can walk into every gym with a clear plan and zero guesswork. So I have these 3 free items for you. You can claim them using the link in the description. They'll be sent to you right away. Enjoy.
Okay, so for our third and final sideline out of bounds basketball play, what we are going to look at here is a box set, right? So for this one, we're actually going to have the screens being set in a little bit of an opposite fashion. So, typically when you're running a box, you'll have screens being set away from the basketball so that you can have a screener kind of cut toward the basketball. Here we're going to have the exact opposite take place. So what we're actually going to have here is number 5 and number 4 set screens closer to the basketball. So number 5 is setting a screen here for number 2, and number 4 is setting a screen here for number 3. So what we want is a little bit of a decoy here for the defense to think that, our focus is getting the ball into number 2 off of that screen, right? Or, potentially number 3 off of that screen as well, right? But that's not actually our focus. We don't really anticipate that happening. What we're actually going to have is after that screen is being set, number 5 is just going to pop, and number 4 is going to pop after their screens, or after they set those screens, and we're just going to get the ball in pretty easily to number 5 or number 4. Typically, you'll get the ball into the side that the inbounder is on. But honestly, every time I've ever run this play, I've been able to get the ball in bounds. It's just a simple and easy play. Everybody is focused on, the players coming off that screen, that nobody really thinks of the players setting the screen, and it results in an easy sideline out of bounds, basketball play that's effective and works every time. And you also see this run a lot in the NBA. I'll see coaches like Nick Nurse of the Philadelphia 76ers, formerly of the Toronto Raptors, often run this play. Again, you're looking at, those players cutting to the basket. You might get it to them, but you're actually going to get such an easy pass here on that pop, from our 2 players up high, our screening players, number 5 and number 4.